500 years ago, he washed ashore the sole survivor of a shipwreck. And upon the skull of the man who killed his dad, he said, "I'm mad, I must eradicate piracy, injustice and cruelty, and all my sons will follow me, so evildoers will believe that this man cannot die."
G'day everyone, and for those who came in late, you're listening to Expand, the Phantom Podcast. My name is Dan. Tonight I'm joined by Jermaine and also Kelby Wooldridge from Wolfric Media. He has been a guest on the podcast before, back in episode 173, but he's come back on today as we launch into the Phantom Country Kickstarter. So very excited to be chatting to these guys on a Friday night. Episode 234, I should have said that off the top, in case you're keeping count at home. First up, Jermaine, as the regular, how are you, mate? How's your week been?
Yeah, happy that it's the weekend, mate. Weekends are always good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what a better way to kick off Friday night at the time of recording than talking Phantom and getting out of watching cartoons.
Right. Well, I'm looking away from the Australia-Afghanistan match as Australia crash out of the T20 World Cup. So it might be good for a distraction to talk about the Phantom instead. And Kelby, how are you, mate?
Going well, mate. Going well. Getting over a bit of the man flu. Got the tail end of it now. So, yeah, last couple of days I've been suffering in silence and trying not to complain too much. So, it's gone now, which is good.
Very good. That is the lot of the man flu. It makes us harder than anyone would dare believe, and we can't complain because no one cares. So.
Pretty much.
Look, hopefully the last few days has been a bit exciting. But as we talk to you tonight, we're on day 4 of the Kickstarter campaign for the Phantom Country miniatures.
Yep.
And hopefully that's been a bit of a welcome distraction for you. I do love a good Kickstarter, and we've seen them before with the Phantom board game, the Fru board game, and the Phantom card game we've had in the past as well. And now here we are with the Phantom Country miniatures, which is a really unique item that we haven't seen anything like it before, really, in the Phantom merchandising world. Look, we're really excited to talk to you tonight and hopefully give the Kickstarter a bit of a boost along. First up, can we ask you about the miniatures themselves? And while you start answering the question, I might just bring up the website so anyone who's watching on YouTube can have a look at what we're talking about here. But if you want to just give us a bit of an insight into the idea behind the Phantom Country miniatures in the first place.
Well, as a kid, you reading Phantom and you get bits and pieces and snippets of how the Phantom Country goes together, how Bangala is situated, what it looks like, and then you see the famous Siberi drawing of the Phantom Country with the landmarks in there, which is the main one that we take. There it is, or part of it at least anyway. And I was looking at that and I thought, everyone's done the Phantom miniatures, like be it Devil, Hero, the Phantom, Garan, Diana, but no one's done any miniatures of the Phantom Country itself. Then I was mentioning there's the Skull Cave. I was mentioning that to my business partner, John Evans of Paramount Jewelers, and I said, got this idea, and he's got the 3D printer, and we printed that in his shop with the artwork supplied by Ben Ford. And I was just like, this is a great idea, we could do those. And he said, well, how about we put them on the map? And then it was just like, yeah, this is a fantastic idea. We can put the whole thing on the map. Originally, we were going to do them in pewter, but we realised with the numbers that we wanted to do, that was about 4.5 tons worth of pewter per miniature run of miniatures. So it just became too expensive. Then with shipping costs, it's just spiraling out of control. So there's the Phantom Peak, the finished paint. Now,
could I just interrupt? You were mentioning pewter, and you mentioned it on the Kickstarter as well. For those who do not have a background in miniatures, and I know there's some people like with the little Warhammers and stuff like that. I don't have a background in it. I'm sure some people don't. What's pewter? What material are we used, and what's the difference between them? the positives and the negatives, so to speak.
Okay, so the pewter is generally what you get the groomsman's tankard made out of, and there's lead-based and non-lead-based pewter. So it really comes down to the weight side of it.
Okay.
Like you have to make the walls very thin. We can't make it a solid one because it ends up being like 100 grams of pewter. There's the cost involved in it, and it starts spiraling out of control with that. So we initially thought on that fact, we wanted something that was really nice and decent. And then we were running into issues of the map itself, how we were going to produce the map. And we went through everything from polystyrene to polyurethane, like the wetsuit material, and with just a print laid over the top of it. But then we were wanting like a 3D map feel to it with mountains and rivers and what have you. And we're going, this just isn't going to work. It took us some time to come down to the fact of what actually happened when a mate of mine said, these are really great miniatures. They're looking fantastic. You could just paint these ones. I went, idiot, that's been staring us in our face all the time, that we can print out the miniatures just as they are, because we can print whatever we want. We don't have to mold it. So it's just easier. And if you go back to the skull cave there, you can see how that's got a hole in it. What we're going to do is cover over that hole so it's easier to paint and we can get it out quicker, but it's still going to be hollow in the inside. So there's going to be a peg at the bottom of the miniatures that will slot into the map, so you can't put it anywhere else and it will fit in there and be
I think we saw that peg there. That's the peg there that you're talking about for those on YouTube?
That's been attached to the painting peg that Jackson did for us. So he's just put it on top of that one. It's actually going to be like a peg in a hole, so it's going to fit perfectly in there, and then fit flush with the map. So the map's going to come up to that.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. It's just that you were talking about pewter. On the Kickstarter, there's pewter, or in previous conversations. So it was more of just wanting to know what pewter was, and I'm sure there would have been at least one other person as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have come up with the thing of saying, "Oh, this is a lot of money that you're asking for. They're expensive." Look, I know, but if you look at the lowest level, the unpainted miniature is $20. That's fairly cheap for an unpainted miniature in a box that you can paint for your own thing. The rest of it, the paints or the painting of them, is going to be done by Jackson. So they're going to have the kits in there, so the paints and the brushes, so you can paint it the way you want, or you can follow the artwork of Glenn Ford. But there's not much profit in the painting side of it. It's just, we want these to be top class miniatures for the clients. And they're just saying, oh, it's a bit of this, a bit of that. But each one of those miniatures, for him to paint takes about an hour. Yeah. So that's an hour of his time. And then there's the posters that we have to get made for Glenn Ford as well. So we haven't added much profit into these miniatures at all when you look at them. Now, these are just for the 10 miniatures. The map comes later, but we're hoping to get enough people interested in the miniatures that we can keep our cost of the map, given the size of it, down to a very low minimum.
Yeah,
we're hoping for the whole map.
No, sorry, mate. Sorry to interrupt. So the Kickstarter is for the pledge levels that people have got the option for are either one or two of the miniatures, or you can pre-order, I guess, for the completed set of 10. And just for people's interest, we should say, and it is listed on the campaign, that the 10 miniatures that we're talking about, the Phantom Peak, which we've seen the picture of there, the Skull Cave, but also the Misty Mountains, Witchman's Peak, Isle of Eden, Kilauea, Whispering Grove, the Eastern Dark, Nyapura, which is Emperor Junkar's palace, and the Jungle Patrol headquarters. So all pretty iconic locations in the Phantom Country.
If you look at the map down the bottom, so that's his version of it.
Yeah, so Glenford, it looks like a reinterpretation of Cy Barry's of a map we've seen from Cy Barry. Hang on, where do I put it? Here we are.
Just a little bit. There we are. Yeah, it is a reinterpretation. Now that's going to be 45 centimeters high by 75 centimeters across. We won't have Walker's Peak or the castle on the side there. But what we are aiming to do is to put every tribe from the Free magazine in Phantom's country. So there'll be, I guess, a hut representing the location of each tribe and their name next to them. So that's going to be where they're located in the comics, and we're going to have them there. So we're looking at a fairly definitive map of the Phantom country and keeping it with that sort of original feel of the Phantom back when he first originated.
Yeah. So I'm assuming when you're talking about the tribes, we're talking probably about the main 5 or 10 tribes and not the 120.
No, all of them.
What, all 120 that have? Really?
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I mean. This is a big, big undertaking that we're wanting to do.
Yeah.
Just because, it's something that needs to be done. The Phantom is, 84, 85 years old. As far as I'm aware, talking with King Feature Syndicate, this has never been done before.
No, and so just to clarify, because I think a lot of people would see this map that we're seeing on the screen at the moment, and could look at that and go, "Wow, that'd be an amazing poster on the wall." But the way that you've got it with the miniatures designed to be pegged into the map, this is actually something more to be stored on a coffee table and viewed horizontally like that, if you know what I mean.
Yes. So as we've got with the miniatures, there's the posters, that the artwork that's coming with it, and that's taken directly off Glenn Ford's. There we go. Yes, those things there. They're done by a guy down in Sydney as well. He's done a fantastic job of copying Glenn Ford's artwork on it. So there's prints there. Now the higher level has one of the original artworks, so Phantom Peak or Emperor Junker's Palace or Jungle Patrol, they will be coming with that in the highest level. So there's 10 of those, and that artwork will be personally signed by Glenn Ford as well.
Okay, so that's original artwork, not a poster or a print.
Well, you'll get the posters and prints and one of the miniatures original artwork.
Okay, yeah, and that's for just to clarify, that's the pledge there for $1,100.
Yes, correct.
Which I might just move that over there so people can see the pledges. Okay, cool. All right, so if you're pledging, and there's 6 of those left, I guess this is the one where we're wanting people to sign up, because that's going to keep the money ticking over in a sense. There's 10 of those, so you get all 10 miniatures, you get them hand painted, you get the set of 10 prints or posters, and then you also get one of the original drawings from Glenn Ford signed as well.
Yes.
Oh, I hadn't. So that explains why there's 10 of those, because I actually hadn't twigged that there was the original artwork involved in that one as well.
So you only get one of the original artwork. So it could be Phantom Peak, it could be Richmond's Peak, Isle of Eden, whichever. But of the 10 posters, you get a poster for each miniature, and each of those posters is signed by Glenn Ford.
Sure.
Yeah. And then, so we might as well go over all those pledges. Dan, could you just scroll up?
Yeah. So the starting point, we all
know what Dan's pledged. Is just
That's very public now. As always with Kickstarter, the base pledge is to pledge without a reward, just because you support the project. But in terms of with the rewards, the way you've got it listed here, Kelby, is a $20 pledge, and you can choose whether is it this stage. Do you get to choose between Phantom's Head Peak and the Skull Cave, or do you get to choose any one of the 10? Cool.
Any one of the 10.
Probably, maybe, and this is my failing, I suppose, but maybe because there's not the pictures of those anywhere on the thing. I had sort of thought it might be one of the two, but anyway, so that's a pretty cool pledge level for $20. You get to choose any one of the 10. $65 or more, you get the first two. So that is
the choice of.
Sorry, yep. So choice of either Phantom Peak or the Skull Cave.
Correct.
With the paints, though, that's the key.
And a print.
Yes.
And a print of whatever one you choose.
Yep.
Cool. $100 or more, you get actually hand painted miniature of the Skull Cave.
Yep.
And the print.
And the print is digitally signed by Glenn as well.
$650 for all 10 miniatures plus the paint set.
Hang on, you're missing the other page.
Oh, my level, because it's up the top. So that's the 200. And you know this, Germ, because I know that you've also pledged at that level too. So that's the $200, and basically that's double this one, isn't it? Really, it's both of those first two the Skull Cave and Phantom Head Peak with the artwork and painted by John Jackson.
Painted by Jackson. Max Jackson.
Yeah. Cool. Then for the heavy hitters, I suppose, if you want to just purchase all 10 miniatures straight up, you get the paint sets plus the posters and your name. And this is a pretty cool aspect. Once the Phantom Country map is made, your name will be on the back of it as well. So it's a pretty cool way to go down in perpetuity as someone who supported the campaign. And then the $1,100 big dog pledge, I suppose, and we see that there's 4 of those already been snapped up, where you get all 10 of the miniatures hand painted with the prints and one of the artworks, as we said just before.
Yes, great. Yeah,
cool. Awesome. Now, a quick question. You've got here. I just want to make mention of this because this has been a conversation that I've had with 1 or 2 fans, that you are shipping these anywhere in the world, like Sweden, India, US, South America, New Zealand. So, and do you now? Question without notice.
Ipswich.
Yeah, I think that's still in Australia, isn't it?
I think so.
You probably drive that down from where you are, Kelby.
So, do you know roughly what the costs are to say somewhere to India? Or is it probably about $50?
It's generally about $25.
Okay. And then the pledger pays
to ship it over anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we can either have a flat cost for shipping, or we increase the price. And then you're going to end up and have free shipping, and then you're going to end up paying more anyway.
Yep. No, that's fine. It's just I have had Sorry.
There's nothing else like this that I've seen. So there's nothing like this that I've seen out on the market at all in any franchise. Lord of the Rings. You name it, Star Wars. There is nothing like this out there in the market at all.
You mean in terms of
look, it is
just plug into.
Yeah. Like people have done like visual thing with Lord of the Rings. Like you can get the 2 towers or the big statues at the end, or the castle at the end of Return of the King. But there's nothing where you can put it on a physical map and actually be interactive with this map.
Yeah. So if someone comes out with the concept of Middle Earth and wants to plug in all of the pieces of the map, I think there might be a little bit of a royalty due your way if they decide to go that way. All right. So you might have experienced some technical difficulties there. Just in case that was the case, just to clarify, Kelby, you were just talking about how many supporters that you needed to make this happen. How many actual fans who to pledge and get this project up and running?
So if the major slots are filled, so the top, 160 are all filled, And then in total, we'd need about 24 to 2,500, depending on what level they pledge at. So realistically, worldwide, that's probably 500-600 fans per continent. So 600 in Europe, 600 South America, 600 North America, 600 Australasia, and that's it. We're fully funded. A vast majority, I'd say about 90% of our funds are going towards licensing fees, artwork, 3D printing of the models, painting of the models, the videos that we're going to get done, the posters being printed and made, and getting the packaging done for these as well. So there's a lot of money that's not coming to us. It's just, this is the bare minimum that we're getting to just get the 10 miniatures. Now, we were thinking, okay, do we just go hell for leather and get the map done at the same time? But then we're pushing up towards, 110,000, and that to me is like another figure again, where everyone's going to, oh, no, that's too hard. It's not going to happen. I won't back it. But if people say, oh, I'm not going to back this because it will never happen, well, they're right. Because if they don't back it, it's never going to happen. I've said before in posts and our thank yous, businesses like ours only survive through the good fortune of the fans. That's it. We can put out the best product in the world, but if nobody buys it, then we're going to go nowhere. And people go, oh, well, I would have invested in that, but the company didn't go anywhere, and it wasn't going to happen. But if people get behind us, everyone knows that we deliver from caps, our beanies, our rings, our pendants. What we say we're going to deliver, we're going to deliver. So, if people support us, we will get that there. If we can get higher, we will do the 3D map. So everyone who hasn't bought into it can see exactly what they're going to get in front of them with that 3-dimensional map that they can put on their coffee table in their front lounge and have covered in perspex glass and all the rest of it, because it's something that, it is unique. It is totally unique.
So I just wanted to make sure I understand that, and I'm sorry if I've asked the question that you've actually answered. The 90,000, is that the total that is going to cost to produce the two, or is that going to be the first two, i.e. the Skull Cave and the Phantom Peak, or is that the total that's going to cost for all 10?
That's for all 10.
Okay.
So that gets us the artwork, it gets us the licensing fees, it gets us the videos and the paint sets done up, it gets us the 3D printing of the miniatures, it allows for the poster work to be done and everything to be sent out. So that gets us the 10 miniatures for the 90 grand.
Okay.
So
is that the full 20,000 units that you talk about in the?
No. That's just to prep it. It. So that gets us, and that gives us enough funds to produce what we need to produce in the way of posters, packaging, because each unit needs to be approved by a King Features Syndicate. Each unit needs to have its own box and to have the licensing on it as well. And the posters need to be approved by King Features as well. So we need to get them the prototypes. They'll sign off on it. I mean, the great thing is the artwork is getting done by Glenn Ford. So he's going to be pretty close to what the normal artwork is going to be anyway.
Yeah.
They just have to approve the quality that we're going to do. And, they've approved our rings. They know that we're all about quality. We're not going to put out an inferior product.
Yeah. Just another question talking about the miniatures, I guess. What size are they going to be? Are they... I know on some social medias I saw a picture of you putting one next to I think it was a $2 coin.
20-cent piece.
It was a 20-cent piece. So are we looking, I got a tape measure here. Are we talking about 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters?
So the base of the Phantom Peak is about 6.5. It's about So the flat part of it, about 6.5 long. The height of it is about 4, and it's about 2 or 3 centimeters deep.
Okay, so for those who are wanting to know, that's 6.5 centimeters there, and you're saying that's 6.5 centimeters long, and then you said about 4 high, and then so that's something that's quite big. It's not, we're not talking about a 1 or 2 centimeter
no
thing here. I'm just coming next to me. So this is again, I'm just doing this just purely for size. So that's a phantom one. That's 9 centimeters tall. That was, from eBay. That's about $70-80. That. Let's grab this one. Trying to find one this is 6.5 centimeters. So that's about how long you're talking about it there. So so we're not talking about like little puny little
tiny little things that'll get lost in the back of the couch.
I just think that when we're talking about sizes, and as every bloke knows, size does matter. I just sorry about that one, Kelby. I just thought it would be nice to show up a little bit of a comparison.
Cool. So essentially, just to clarify what you said there, in terms of getting this project funded, the $90,000 that you figure that you've nailed there, if you get that funded, you'll not only be able to afford supplying those first 2 figures and those first 2 miniatures to everyone who's pledged at their various levels, but you'll be set up ready to go to release the other 8 to everyone who hasn't gone for one of those top 2 tiers. Those top 2 tiers, obviously, they're signing up for the full set. But if you haven't signed up for those, what you're doing is getting your first 2 or 1 or 2, but guaranteeing that the other 8 are going to be ready to purchase as you're ready to buy them.
Correct. If we can get a lot more funded, like I'm talking about 110, given the fact that the map we're wanting to produce, and this is the only way that I can think to ship it, is to have it in 15 squares that can be shipped in like a treasure chest, because we can't ship in one piece and guarantee that it's going to arrive in one piece. 75 centimeters by 45 centimeters is just not going to happen.
So it's not something that can roll up?
No, because we're talking a 10 centimeter thick map. It's a slab, like a tile that is.
Did you how thick was the tile? What did you say?
Oh, sorry, 10 mil thick. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm just thinking.
Yeah. Sorry, that's me getting confused with the size. So, but still, like a 10 mil. Yeah. It's a fairly sizable one.
Yeah. So that's So that's still a very decent size, and that's not cheap. To ship. I can just tell you from something that we've learned from our own experience this week. The guys at Chronicle Chamber, when we've been sending our beer warmer things to the Patreons, stubby coolers, to Patreon. Anything that's bigger than basically a 5 mil is classified as a parcel these days. So I can tell you firsthand that it's not cheap. Yeah. So, okay. So I'm just dissecting a lot, with what you said, because there was a lot of information there. So we're talking about the 90,000 now. 90,000's, it's a decent chunk of money.
Decent chunk.
Let's not beat around the bush. Let's not lie. We'll be upfront. It is a decent amount. Was it ever a consideration to go a lower cost to meet the cost for the first 2, or was it then, did you not go down that path because you were worried that you would have a half-finished product, i.e. 2 miniatures, and not be able to do the whole 10 miniatures and the map? Is that the reason why you decided not to do that?
In part, but also the fact that the cost to do it like everything that we needed to get organised first was literally half of what we were doing this time around. So to get all 10 done, we literally only had to double our pledge level.
Right. So
it's not.
So it would cost to get 2 done only costs you half as much as what it would cost to get 10 done. That economy of scale.
Yeah.
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 And when we're not asking the same number of people with lesser rewards to pledge more money. So we spread it out as much as we can, because our biggest costs generally are the licensing fees that we need to cover into the next year, and the painting videos being done. They're our 2 biggest costs, and obviously the hand painting of it to be done. So to cover all that, we're like, well, let's go for the whole 10. At least then we've got the whole 10. It's all approved. We can sell it. People hopefully going to buy it. Love the product that we're putting out there. Yeah, look, I'm going back to this thing because it is a big thing to me. People are going, $65 is a lot. Compared to what? You go into some of the pop culture stores and the miniatures they're selling are, they're exquisitely hand painted, but they're $230, $500 just for one miniature. For that price, we're giving you a whole map.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep.
Like the whole map, we're hoping to keep around the $750 to $800 mark. That's including all the miniatures. That's everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Now I just sorry, what was I going to say? And I guess with your pledge levels, it is worth reminding that the first one, which was the $20 one, you're still getting a figure for $20, which is which is a pretty good price. Like those ones that I just showed before, you're not getting those for $20 Australian, shipped to you, and you have the choice of either all the 10, and then you also Dan, and then you've also got the 10 unpainted, which is the 65 with the paints, and then you got the 10 that are painted for $1,000, which comes with original artwork as well. So I think it's worth that while this Kickstarter is not just for the 2 figurines, it's for the 10 figurines, and then so I think it's just worth making mention of that.
And I think it's an interesting something that I've sort of struggled with as I've watched the social commentary and all the rest of it. And I know there's a lot of people querying the cost of it, exactly like you said, Kelby. And that $20 figure, we joke about $20 being the price we tell our wives is what we spend on Phantom figures. This is actually a $20. And if you're unsure about the price, throw $20 at it. That may or might, if the Kickstarter doesn't even get funded, it doesn't even cost you the $20. If it does get funded, it costs you $20, and you're definitely getting a pretty cool little figure of a Phantom item. And
and you get to choose. And with the $20 pledge, you get to choose which one you want. So you could get, So if
obviously you're going to want to sell a lot of the bigger ticket, the pledges to be able to fund it. $20 by, I don't even know, I'm not a good mathematician. You need a lot of those $20 figures to get to your 90 grand, but
realistically, 90 grand, it's at $20 a piece. That's 4,500 fans.
Yeah, right.
And last time I checked, that's what you guys have as your followers on Facebook.
Right, so every one of our listeners and followers on Facebook.
That's it.
Put it that way, it sounds very achievable, doesn't
it?
That's it. Like people go, 90,000 is a big figure. Like I went through every permutation. I was trying to get this. Like I didn't know how Kickstarter worked. I did the very badly received GoFundMe. Yeah, not the best business decision on my part. And I admit that. I was like, yeah, you idiot, what were you thinking? But people go, 20 grand's a lot. If you break it down, it's 4,500 people putting in $20. That's it.
So is the Kickstarter being promoted in like the free comic or?
No, I mean, any ad, that's an additional cost that we have to allow for. Like, it's $500 for a half page black and white. A full page is 1,000, and I think a color is like 1,500.
Yeah,
but we've only got the 2 figurines. Once we've got the full Kickstarter done, we can do a full color spread showing all the different figures in free magazine. Not a problem. We can do that. If we get past our 90,000 and we can do the map, we will show the whole lot, and hopefully have enough to develop a treasure chest to put everything in there. So you get your tens plus the map plus a treasure chest. And I mean, that would be the ultimate, I guess, for the Phantom fan to have that on his coffee table.
Have you go on, sorry, Jim.
I was just going to say I can see my wife being happy with me putting that on the coffee table.
Well, look, if you do an extension out,
that might be the best way of doing it, is getting the extension.
Or if you put a garden shed out the back, and then you can put some palms in there with the skylight coming through the shed roof, and then you can walk into your own jungle and see the Phantom land in front of you. There you go.
Well, it's a shame Steve's not here, because I know he's got a part of his Phantom collection out in the garden shed, so that could have been an idea for him. As part of getting ready for tonight and thinking about the campaign you've got and all the rest of it, I've done a very small amount of research into all of this sort of stuff. And one of the things I was keen to ask, you see some of the other Kickstarter campaigns and miniatures that are available for sale, and people will put pledge levels like the prototypes, and we've already seen photos of the prototypes. Had that occurred to you that maybe they put prototypes up as a pledge level, even the STL files, which a lot of the other places that are doing miniatures as well, they even actually will only do the STL files and say, right, we'll sell the files and you print your own. Had you thought about those as a pledge level as well? And what's your thoughts there?
Well, we wanted to try and keep control of it, because if we do sell the STL files, there may be some unscrupulous people that would print 10,000 of it, whatever. Our details are on that STL file. The licensing line is on that STL file. And I can say, you know what? I'm going to sell this for $10 a pop. And if I sell 50,000 of them, that's $500,000 I've made. And I've made it from pledging. They've taken we're taking our idea and basically writing off the back of it. I'm a huge Phantom fan, Marvel fan, Disney, anything with pop culture, excluding part of anime and stuff like that. But most of the stuff, I'm very respectful of artists and the time and effort that it takes to go into making something. I just don't want to see it cheapened and people going, well, I'll make some money out of this idea because I can. I hate seeing people hacked on Facebook or on Instagram. I'm a huge Matthew Riley fan. Reckon he's done an amazing job creating the universes that he has. And I got followed by Matthew Riley on Instagram, and I went, wow, this is pretty good. And then I looked, and there's like 6 followers, and I went, yeah, that's not Matthew Riley. I was like, I'm reporting the guy. I don't care, shut him down, because he's taking away from the fans who are loyal to the fan base that they've got. And I don't want to sell the STL file and have somebody say, look, it's licensed by King Features and Reaper's Quest. This is the original deal. We're going to be the sole ones selling the original deal.
Yeah, and look, that's entirely fair enough. Well, what about the prototypes? I know that one of the Personally, one of the pledge levels I went for with the Phantom board game was a prototype of the minis that they had produced. Then would that be something that you'd consider adding onto the campaign to try and give it a few more legs in the last couple of weeks, perhaps?
Well, the prototypes that we've got are pretty much what you've got to get anyway. Like, we only have 2 of the original ones done, which is the Phantom Peak and the Skull Cave. They're the only ones that we've got the original ones for, like, that haven't yet been approved by KFS. So there's nothing to be added by putting those in, because it'll basically be a copy of what they're going to get anyway.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough.
One thing I was thinking of, because obviously we're going to have a poster of the Phantom Country as well. So there is going to be that with the map, because obviously if people want to paint their miniatures, they want to have the Phantom Country painted as well. So you are going to have a poster of the Phantom Country for sale with that Phantom map.
Yeah. Now, in your Kickstarter, you've made mention of, now I'm not sure if I'm going to get this right, but it was Jackson Price Maxwell. Is that?
Yep.
Is the person that's doing the painting?
Yes. Yep.
So now, one of Chronicle Chambers' friends who's supported us for quite a while, Luke Gagan, talked about that. He actually knows Jackson. He's quite a well-known painter of miniatures and all that. So it's So you've got someone who's actually, a professional, I guess you could use the word, and it's not just a some 14-year-old hack who who's never done it before.
We don't know. Jackson might be 15.
No, he's not 15. He's got a driver's license. No, I went to the Scale Model painters there in Facebook, and I got a set of paints from them. I thought, I'll paint them myself. And I then thought later on, I went, "You're kidding, mate. I can barely paint a wall, let alone a miniature, with any decent accuracy." And I got his number from the guy who supplies the paints. I said, "Look, this is what we're wanting to do. Are you interested in giving us a hand?" I sent him photos of the miniatures, and he looked at it and went, "Yeah, mate, I'd love to be on this, because my dad's a huge Phantom fan and he'd get a real blast out of this."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, this is what we're wanting to do." And he goes, "Yep, not a problem." He's been amazing, bouncing ideas backwards and forwards. As you can see from the pictures that we've got there, like, that's not the finished product that we're going to have, but it gives you an idea of the level of painting that he does. His website's in his bio that we've got there. So if people want to have a look at his website, just up a bit. There you go.
Big Jack O Little Minis.
.com. You can go in there and view his work. I mean, if you just look at that Phantom Peak there, that is a sensational piece of work that he's done.
So so if you're on YouTube at the moment, you'll see Dan's going through some of them, and you're having a look at, like, a shrunken head is $35.
Yep.
A voodoo doll is $35. Like, just keep going. Can you just show me those tiers? Just go up a little bit. So it's not Halloween anymore, Dan. There we go. So, for instance, just click on some of those arrows. So what we're looking at the website, again, if you're on audio, is, for instance, he's got a little figurine. So this is a tier 3, which is
tier 2. That's a tier 2.
It's looking like a Warhammer or something like that. Does it have? It takes him an hour to paint something like that. Does it have a price on it by any chance?
I can't see.
Not that I can see.
I was just trying to do something.
No, and he says get in touch for information. These, but hit me up. So, but look, you've only got to look at this page here, and I know it's still from a video. But if this is all the types of painting that he does. Very, very detailed, very very professional.
Much better than us.
Oh, absolutely better than the paint that I'd be slapping around. So
this is the thing, like, we are offering the opportunity for fans to paint it themselves. But the reason that we're doing that is if we do get to 20,000, each one's going to take him an hour. People are going to be waiting for the best part of a year, depending on when they put it in, to get their miniatures back. That's just one. So, and he probably has access to quite a few painters. Like, if we do get to the whole 20,000 sets being sold, I'm just going to say to him, Jackson, what do you need? What do you need? Let's get this thing done and dusted so we can get these done pretty quickly. Like, just have them on a hand-painted assembly line and have him overseeing the whole lot. I mean, that's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
Because as you can see by everything that we do, we try as much as we can to keep the artwork, the manufacturing, the distribution within Australia.
Yeah.
I'm very reluctant to let anything go outside of Australia, but if there's a service that isn't offered within Australia, that's the only time that we go outside of Australia.
Yeah. So I'm just wary of time because I'm so let's just say, we meet the 90,000. I think on the website you had that you're expecting the first lot to be shipped. I think it was May 23, 2023. So that will be for the first 2 in May. And then what, sorry, I've got a sneeze coming. What's the time frame for the other 8? Are we looking at one at a time? Once a month, once every 6 months, or like what's the time frame? Just to give our fans a big picture point of view.
Well, people who have done the top level, let's just say, right, we're going to service the people who've bought the entire 10 first.
Of course.
Yep.
We're going to ship them the entire 10 at the same time, right?
Yep.
So they pay their money. They deserve to have the 10 miniatures in one hit.
Yeah. So they'll get those in. The plan is May 2023, which is only, I think that's 4 or 5 months away.
Yeah. So 6 months at most, including Christmas, but everything shuts down for Christmas. But realistically, I can say to Glenn, right, we're funded. Give us all the artwork. Don't worry about the map so much. We'll work on the map in the background. We get the artwork. We get those turned into posters. The posters get turned into 3D STL files. We print them. We get the packaging done for them, make sure the packaging is right. We look at the size that we've got, so they're not too big for the map. But again, neither are they too small. So those dimensions that we went over before, that's our minimum size. But if we look at the size of the map, we go, you know what? They're lost on a map that size. The amount of information that we need on the map, we want to have the map that size, right? So we'll just slightly increase the size of the miniatures.
Yeah. And them being an STL or a digital file, it's something that you can just increase. It's not like you got to redo a whole new sculpture or a mold. It's literally okay. So I've pledged for the $200 for the 2 painted ones.
Thank you very much, guys.
We meet the 90,000 target. May, June, we're looking at getting them. Obviously, painted are probably going to take a little bit longer than a non-painted one. When would miniature number 3 be expected to be able to be purchased?
Well, we want to try and get the whole 10 approved at the same time.
Yep. So there's an option for people to be able to say, hey, let's, I think you made mention of about $600 or $700 for the map, the 10 miniatures. Let me, here's my $700, take it. You're saying that in that period of time, middle of the year, around that period, people would be able to buy the complete set.
The rest of the eight.
Yeah. And then I'm assuming, I'm hoping for someone who probably can't afford $700-800 in one hit, you would have an option where people can maybe pay, like $100 a month or something like that, where they can get one figurine at a time or one miniature at a time.
And that's what we'll. Yeah. So if they say, look, I can afford one now, great. Pay us $65 a month. We will print and ship you the poster, the packaging, and the miniature and the paint set if you want that. But we'll have different levels. So there might be some people out there who are model painters themselves, and they go, look, I've got my paints. I don't need the paints. I just want the poster. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We can ship you that, right? Yeah. Because that means we just literally print it, package it, and send it off. That's the beauty of doing a 3D print. But if they're wanting it to be hand painted, okay, we got to send it down to Wagga Wagga, get Jackson and his mates to paint it, get it sent back. To save on postage, we might say, right, we're going to print 20 at a time. So, right, here's 20 orders, send them down to him. And as we've done with every one of our clients, we keep in contact with them and say, this is where your model's at. We're extremely particular about the rings that we produce for our customers. We want to make sure that the ring size, and I say to people, look, don't hazard a guess because you're doing a big investment on a phantom ring here. Go to a jeweler, get your sizing done right. Let us know exactly what it is. And sometimes they'll send in a sizing and we go, no, that's not right. It's like massively big, like we're talking something like that. Or it's like a little ring finger or a little finger size. And we're just going, that doesn't match. So we get them to check because I don't want clients to pay money. They get a ring, they're not happy with it. We're all about customer satisfaction.
Yeah. All right, cool. No, it was just good to kind of get a bit of a big picture. Dan, have you got any other questions?
No, it sounds exciting, Kelby, and I do love, as I said from the outset, I do love following a Kickstarter campaign. For what it's worth, having a look at my own Kickstarter history, I think I've backed 8 or 10 projects now, and every single one of them's got across the line, and I'm looking forward to maintaining that record. I haven't got one of your rings, but I wear one of your hats in every podcast to cover the glare, and it's a really good quality hat, and I love it. So I know that what you do is good stuff, and really keen to see these miniatures get across the line, and looking forward to being on the journey with you over the next 24, 25 days.
So Kelby, one thing.
Mate.
So one thing I need from you before we do wrap up is you have a 2-3 minute window to give a passionate plea for those fence sitters who are still sitting on the fence. Get your run up ready. Get a drink of water if you need it. But this is you've got the full screen. I'm going to pin you on there. So I'll wait until you finish drinking, of course. There you go. And so you have the floor. Please give us a good 2, 3, 5 minutes if you absolutely need a good passionate plea to get those fence sitters off the fence and onto the Kickstarter. Go.
Okay, well, guys, thank you again. You guys have been supportive of me from day dot. I mean, that's all I can say. Hopefully one day we get to meet up. Who knows if this all comes off, I'll be delivering yours personally. So, that'll be good to finally catch up with another fan that understands our somewhat craziness and insanity as our suffering better halves call it. Sorry, getting choked up a bit there. Look, this has been an idea that we've had for 5 years to get to this stage. We were wanting to get it funded by ourselves. We've put our own money. We haven't been paid a cent out of this, our company yet. We're just wanting to supply the best quality products to the Phantom fans, because I feel the Phantom is a unique character. If you listen to Maria Lewis's podcast, her history there is insanely detailed that she's gone through, and Phantom is that crossover between pulp hero and superhero. He is the first superhero, and to my knowledge, this is the first of its type as a product for any franchise, be it Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Seven Ancient Wonders. Like, this is the first time that a map has been put out there. I would like to see this become a reality. I'm just been going to sleep dreaming of trying to how to get this thing funded. You know, I wanted to approach Hasbro. I wanted to approach some rich benefactor that would do it, but the more I thought about it is I didn't want to lose control of it, because nobody understands what a fan is thinking unless they're a fan themselves. Like, you guys are serious fans. You know the history of the Phantom inside out. And it's just something that you cannot explain to other people to get them to understand what it's like. And even my business partner, John Evans, he is passionate about Lord of the Rings, but he doesn't understand the Phantom. But he's going, that's your department. He understands that I know what's correct, and I'm not going to put out rubbish products for our clients to buy. Everything from the packaging to the printing to the art that's provided with them to the overall presentation. We're thinking of it as not a good product in bad packaging. It is the best. And I'm just thinking, I just want to get this out there. Like, I know I'm rambling and I'm going on and on, but I'm just passionate. I say to people, hey, this is an idea I've got. And they're just looking at me and going, wow, you really are a fan. I'm going, yeah, I mean, this is an amazing idea to get out there. I mean, you guys would love to be able to sit down, look at the Phantom Country by yourself, and you've got the whole thing laid out in front of you. I mean, nobody's ever done that before. And I think that the Phantom is the ideal superhero or franchise and character to get that done. We try and get products for the full range of the fan. Yeah, we've sold a gold Phantom ring, and I was like, wow, somebody actually bought one. But we've also done the caps and the beanies as well. So we're wanting to get the full range so every fan can enjoy something. You know, if a fan wants to go, you know what, I just want the artwork and the print, sure, not a problem. We'll have pricing so you can individualize your shopping trolley. I just want the 3D print model, the map, and the posters. That's it. I don't want the paints or them painted. Not a problem. We'll just print that and ship that out to you. So, you know, we're trying to keep everything as good as possible. And I think I'm rambling and getting out of time here. But I've always said to our customers, if you have a question, message us, email us, get in contact with us, and we'll answer it. I'm not one to shy away, but if it can be constructive criticism, that's all I ask. Not somebody just, this is rubbish, and knocks it on the head. Because you know what? People have said, wow, to other people, wow, you're lucky. Yeah, but they worked their butt off to be lucky. And people who just put other people down for having a shot really annoy me. And my daughters have said, don't bow into the trolls. You shouldn't have to bow into the trolls. I'm going, no, I'm sticking up for everyone who's been attacked by a troll, which I guess, you know, that's one thing that the Phantom's taught me, is that you stand up for everyone who's been attacked or pushed down or squashed or whatever. You stand up for them, which, you know, if anyone wants to have a go or to join us or to help us out, not a problem. If they can help us with getting a product out there, not a problem. We can help them with that. So, yeah, that's me getting off my soapbox now.
Oh, look, no. I don't think about your passion, Kelby, and as you mentioned there, we've known you for years. We've been communicating for years about the various products that you've been putting out there and all the rest of it. And at no point has that ever been in doubt, the fact that you're a passionate fan who just wants to create and provide, the things that are in your mind and share them with the rest of the fans. So thank you for the work that you do, and appreciate you putting your heart and soul into this project. And yeah, as I say, I really hope it gets across the line for you.
Look, if every single one of your followers put in $20, not a problem. We're done and dusted. And if they change their mind and they want to upgrade what they're buying, they go, well, I really want the paints and the print. We can say, right, here's your code. You put in your code. This is your cost. So that $20 is like a holding for them. So they change their mind and they want to upgrade from a 3D printed miniature of $20. Then we can say, okay, that $20 comes off the price. So you only owe us $45 plus postage.
Yeah. So I just want to, I think it's worth pointing out, with a Kickstarter, you pay that money after the Kickstarter ends if it reaches the target. If it doesn't reach the target, you don't pay the money that you pledged.
You're not out of pocket. You've lost nothing.
Yeah, but it is worth noting, I guess just for the record that, look, I think everyone likes, everyone that I've talked to likes the idea. But if this doesn't meet the target of $90,000, the idea is not going to happen. Is that correct?
Correct. Like this is, we need to sign another contract next year.
Yep.
So part of the funds, and look, licensing is not cheap with any franchise.
Yeah.
Over 10% of the pledge is going to the licensing straight up.
Yeah, and that's the license for the miniatures.
That's our license to produce stuff with Kingfisher Syndicate.
Yeah.
So it's not cheap to get these products out to the clients. The more that we sell, the cheaper things come. So, yeah, look, we looked at it before and we went, okay, if we sell X amount of dollars, but if we do another thing, we can go, okay, we've done the hard yards. Customers like what we put out. If we get a pre-order of 10,000, we'll adjust our price accordingly.
Okay.
Right? So if, like with the caps, it costs us about $350 to order 25 caps, right? But if we order more, it costs us less.
Yeah.
So we can get, if we get a bigger order in, we can say, all right, we'll do this, but we'll refund you $3 for the difference. So it works out if we get a big order in.
Yeah.
But if we're doing the smallest orders possible, we're barely breaking even on the caps.
Yeah.
Because we have to pay a percentage of our profits to the licensing as well.
Yeah. So and that's a worthwhile point. That when you're doing a license, you have your initial upfront costs, but then you've also got a percentage on each item that you've.
Correct.
So, yeah. So, you might, and you said 10%. So 10% of 9,000 is basically 10,000. So you got an initial $10,000 you got to pay up, which is a fair amount of money, and then whatever your percentage is on top of each item, which probably 5-10 percent as well at a complete guess. It does add up. Look, I wish you all the best. Fans, if you are out there, look, at the bare minimum, chuck on $20. At least you'll get, most of us have got cabinets like I have right next to me. Dan does, most of us do, or we've got bookshelves and stuff like that. That $20 gives you the choice of one of the 10. So it's not like you might be thinking, oh, I don't want the Phantom Headpeak. I want the Skull Cave. That's one of the 10 you get to choose from. So at the bare minimum, chuck on $20. let's get this Kickstarter boosting. Let's get it up going. 90,000 is a lot, but as what's the saying, Dan? You're an Englishman.
Hands make light work.
That's it. I knew you would know that one because you're a good English teacher. It's good to see that education does pay off.
And look, we will once we've been positive here. Once we make our 90,000, or heaven forbid, if everyone goes to 25, right, as a pledge, because keeping in mind where it's at, 25 gives us an extra, hang on, let me just work this out in my head here. I don't know, it probably takes us up to $105,000. We can produce the map as well.
Mm.
So you'll get to see everything. Once we get there, we've produced the map and we've done all the miniatures, people will get to see, we'll post a video of what the finished product looks like so they can make a decision at that point. But,
awesome.
We get enough interest, we'll do a display cabinet for it as well.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to see that. Let's go one step at a time, and perhaps the more relevant. If we go to old jungle sayings, Phantom has 1,000 eyes and 1,000 ears, and hopefully he's got 1,000 deep pockets as well. So if everyone can just dip into their own minor treasure room, throw $20 at the Kickstarter and get it underway. We'd really love to see that. So look, mate, Kelby, thank you so much for your time tonight. Really appreciate you taking the time on Friday night, and hope that this communication out to the people gives the Kickstarter a little bit of a boost along, and we'll certainly keep plugging it on the socials. I know you're very active on the socials as well, and very interactive with fans, as you said before. So we really appreciate that. Thank you very much for your time, and all the best with it.
Yeah,
we'll be in touch.
Always. It's a pleasure talking to you guys, and I can't really think of a better way on a Friday night to unwind about talking about the Phantom. And hopefully one day I'll be in person. But yeah, we'll catch up. If this thing gets done, I'll deliver yours personally. How's that?
I look forward to it, mate. Look forward to it. All right. Good on
you. Thank you, Kelby. Good luck.
Cheers, guys. Speak to you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right. So once again, thanks very much to Kelby. Appreciate his time, and encourage everyone to get amongst the Kickstarter there. If you've got another spare $5 out, you could get involved and support Chronicle Chamber on our Patreon account. But I think this month, and we'd certainly understand if you save your shekels and send them across to the Kickstarter instead. Meanwhile, you can keep up to date with everything that we do here on Chronicle Chamber, and it's a growing team. I see we've got reviewers from Germany now and all over the world. Jeremy doing fantastic work in building the crew, but it's all on chroniclechamber.com. You can get in contact with us at chroniclechamber@gmail.com. That's probably the most reliable way to make sure you get a response is via the email there. But
oh, sorry, but yes. Yeah, if you do need to contact us, that's a good place to start.
as much as we are, and I say we, and it's the royal we because Germ does it. He monitors all of our Facebook and our social accounts, and you're pretty good, I reckon, at responding to anyone who messages us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and getting amongst the comments there. But you can find us on all those platforms, and of course, I'd absolutely encourage you to subscribe to the podcast, whether it is on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever it is you listen to your podcast. So look, until next time, thank you very much. We know it's been a bit of a shorter one, but we had something to plug. I hope you can support Kelby, Reaper's Quest, and the Kickstarter that he's got underway. Thanks again for your time tonight, Germ. I hope you had some fun and learned a bit about the product that's coming out.
Yeah, no, it did. Look, get out there, support it.
Absolutely. What's the worst that can happen? You get a $20 Phantom token. How good's that?
That's it. And you can try and paint it yourself. Happy Phantoming, everyone.
Happy Phantoming.
The ghost who walked the Phantom. Enemies beware. The Phantom's always there, but you won't find the Phantom. He finds